Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I make new videos every week. We're serving up all the vegan goodies while doing things a little extra each time. So while you're here, stay, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell next to it so you're notified when new videos go up. I make new videos every week. While you're at it, please also follow me on Instagram at Going Vegan. I post tons of, daily creations there. So yeah, the recipe this week is another good one, and it's pretty versatile. So we're making tofu bulgogi. Yes, it can be used myriad ways. We're going to end up making Korean bulgogi totchos. So yeah, you excited? I'm excited. Let's go. Get started on our tofu bulgogi. We're going to put together our sauce. So we're starting with about a cup of water. And I'm doing this amount of sauce for half a block of tofu. So I think a tofu package is normally like 15 ounces, and I have a tofu block that's half of that. So if you need more sauce, just feel free to increase or double these measurements. So we've got our third of a cup of water, and now I'm going to add 2 heaping cloves of garlic, or about, a really heaping teaspoon. And then we're going to add soy sauce. And yeah, we're just going to kind of drizzle it in there until we get it till about half a cup. We're then going to add a splash of rice vinegar. Probably a good 1.5 teaspoons to a tablespoon. Next, we're going to add maple syrup as our sweetener. If you don't want to use maple syrup, you can use brown sugar, about a teaspoon. But since I'm trying to stay away from just that kind of regular sugar, we're going to add about a teaspoon and a half of maple syrup. Now, next, traditionally you would add gochugaru, or Korean red pepper paste, but I don't have that on hand, and that's okay. I also find that you can find Korean red pepper flakes, gochugaru, more easily at the grocery store, so I'm going to be adding a tablespoon of that. And this is pretty much up to you and the level of spice you can handle. If you don't think you can handle that much, add less. Start with a couple teaspoons and work from there. Next, we're just going to add a splash of sesame oil. Again, probably about a teaspoon's worth. And now we're just going to stir it all together. Now it's time for the tofu bulgogi. So into a pan with a little bit of oil, depending on how nonstick your pan is, we're going to cube up some tofu. Well, crumble it right into the pan. And you want to leave it kind of big chunks, so that it doesn't break down too much while we're stirring it later. Unless you're okay with little crumbles, that's fine. I'm using an extra firm tofu, although it's more like, this brand is more like a firm. And you just want to be sure to press your tofu so that you get as much of the water out so that it can crisp up, because we want this to crisp up. That's kind of the whole point of bulgogi, is kind of like cooking over a flame, cooking meat. And so we're trying to emulate that here. And since we're going to put sauce on it, we want it to have a chance to stand up against the sauce. Just get that crumbled. And then try to leave it as undisturbed as possible to really just kind of brown up. When your tofu starts to get a little golden brown and a little bit more dried out, we can season it. We're going to put a pinch of salt, and I know you're thinking like this is going to be a crazy amount of salt with all that soy sauce, but it's not. It's going to balance out. We need that savory and sweet because we put in the maple syrup. So a pinch of salt, and then to spice it up, I know we already put garlic, but I love it, so we're going to add some garlic powder, about a teaspoon. If you don't want that much garlic, you can just omit that step. And now before your tofu gets totally dried out, but it's, pretty golden brown around all the edges, and before it gets too crumbly, we're going to add our bulgogi sauce. Be sure to turn your heat down low or this is really going to spatter. What you want to do next is turn the heat up to high, bring your bulgogi to a boil, pretty much, a continuous sizzle, and let that sauce cook down. Now, if you find that your sauce doesn't start to thicken up, you can add a cornstarch slurry, which is, you would only probably need for this amount, maybe like a quarter teaspoon to a teaspoon of cornstarch. And then, depending on how much cornstarch, about a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons of water. And then you can just add that to the skillet. Now, once your sauce is all absorbed by the tofu, you will be left with this goodness. It just permeates the tofu, totally becomes saturated, and you're just left with this tender, meat. So let's finish this up.